this is your horoscope for November 2016. Thank you for joining me. It's really nice to be with you today. I've had a look at the main things coming up in November. I'm going to give you a rundown of how they impact you. Please look at the forecast for your rising sign and moon sign to get a really nice overview. But as far as you Virgo sun signs are concerned, you've got Mars sitting in Capricorn in your 5th house until the 9th of November. So the first 9 days of the month here, you're really going to be very driven and very focused on making your romantic relationships better. If you're single, you're going to be out there dating, trying to find someone. If you're in a relationship, you're going to work very hard to make it better, and you're very serious and responsible and driven about this. You've got Pluto in Capricorn, the rising sign in Capricorn, all sitting in your 5th house. So as far as love and romance are concerned, it's not fun and games. It's like, we've got to make this relationship work. And you're very serious about it, okay? So just be aware of that. If you're really pushing things, just realize, hey, I may be pushing a little bit too hard here, and maybe I could just step back and it's not that serious and I can take a breath. On the 9th, things really change and that kind of dies down a lot. Mars hops over the cusp into Aquarius in your 6th house. And you're really going to focus on improving the way you live your life on a day-to-day basis, especially when it comes to your personal health. And I really think you may be concerned about the type of foods that you eat, the way you exercise, your carbon footprint, what impact you have on the world at large. And I really think the focus becomes very much oriented towards being responsible and the way you treat your body and all of those things. So again, that is very serious, and you're thinking about things very deeply and responsibly. Try and lighten things up deliberately here in November, Virgo, because you can be quite focused on details anyway, and this kind of stuff is perfect fodder for you. For a Virgo to start counting calories and to look at, I can't have nightshades, and I can't have any carbs, especially with some sort of chemical formula, whatever, you can really get into that and start to obsess. So try and avoid that and deliberately lighten things up. On the 12th, that is supported, and things will start to lighten up on their own because Venus, the planet of love and beauty, moves into your 5th. Yes, Venus is in Capricorn, so Aphrodite is very serious. Let's work at love. Let's go to the relationship counselor. And if you want to do that, if you are in a serious long-term marriage and you have run into problems and you want to really knuckle down and say, let's tackle this and let's make it better, it's the perfect time to go see a relationship therapist, a marriage counselor, any of those things, and to really work things out. But Venus, even when she's in Capricorn, she's much more loving and light than Mars is, which is all about driving forward and getting things done. So the fact that Venus arrives in your 5th means that your love life, your personal relationships do lighten up, and you start to actually enjoy the process of working on your relationships or spending time with people or communicating to make things better. It becomes much more enjoyable rather than some sort of personal race that you have to win, some sort of personal goal that you're going to try and master and achieve. People pick that up, like if you're in a relationship and you're saying, okay, let's make things better between us, but you're only doing it for your own personal gratification, and you're saying, see, we've made this work because I'm the best at relationships. The other person's going to feel that and say, hang on a minute, what are we doing? The Venus energy is much better because it's like, I love you, we've had some problems, I want to work it out, let's get together and sort them. That is in place from the 12th of November onwards. So take that into account if you are scheduling things like counseling. It's going to feel much more genuine and loving. Mercury goes into Sagittarius on the 13th of November, and it moves into your 4th house. So focusing on your family relationships, learning about who's doing what the actual logistics are of the next coming weeks to months. We're entering the festive season. You're really going to be very interested in that, and your working head goes into that and says, okay, what are we going to do and how can we make most people happy most of the time? So if you're organizing Thanksgiving, be nice to yourself so you don't drive yourself crazy. And if Aunt Vesta is sitting, on table number 2 at the very end, and she likes to sit in the middle, but you can't sort it out any other way. Don't, take a breath. You can't make everyone happy all the time, and it's not your job. So again, it's important for you to not kind of overdo things and become obsessive. The full moon happens on the 14th of November. That's in Taurus in your 9th house. Now, the full moon is when you're showered with this moon energy. Taurus is an earth sign, so that feels very congruous to you. It feels very comfortable and easy and good. And in the 9th house, that's growth and expansion. This actually gives you the potential and the opportunity to go on a trip. And if you do, I think you'll have a wonderful time. It's not just a full moon, it's a super moon. So the moon is much closer to planet Earth than it usually is. It's closest, it's the closest to the Earth that it's been this century so far, and it's not going to be this close until 2034. And what that means is that the moon obviously looks better. It's not better, bigger, does look better, but bigger and better. It's 14 to 30 degrees bigger than it usually is, and because it's closer, it has a stronger impact on us. So you're going to feel very comfortable exploring, traveling, a sense of contentment, a sense of luxuriating in discovering something new. I think you're going to have that sense of wanderlust and really going somewhere where you can chill out and relax. So it's not like sightseeing mission of Europe in 5 days. It's more like going to Hawaii for a week and just chilling at the Four Seasons and not going anywhere and sipping pina coladas and just relaxing. That's much more, like a Gemini full moon in the 9th would be like, okay, let's do the sites. Let's do the Colosseum in Rome, and then let's do the Pantheon or whatever. This is about just luxuriating. And if you are fortunate enough to be able to book that in, then please do. You'll really get a lot out of it. On the 19th and 20th, we've got Neptune, the dream planet, coming out of retrograde and going direct. It's been in retrograde for 5 months, so this is really significant. It's the main thing happening in November, the most important thing. Neptune is in Pisces once every 160 plus years. It's in Pisces from 2011 until 2026. So I just want to draw attention to it because we've still got 10 years of this, but Neptune rules Pisces and it's very happily placed in Pisces. It's like, let's look at the infinite potential in spiritual truth of what can happen here in your life, and it's sitting in your 7th house of relationships. So yes, you've been grinding like a horse trying to make your relationships better, on some level being somewhat obsessive, but on another level here now on the 19th to 20th, and I'm saying 19th to 20th depending on where you are in the world, America, Europe, Australia, it's going to go direct obviously at different times. But you can really look at the ideal of what you want to achieve in your relationship life. And for you, Virgo, this is something that I'm only seeing for you and no one else, that you can actually look at what you've done in past lives and how you've gone about relationships and where you're up to in your spiritual development and what you still want to achieve. So the way I see these things, and we're all different, some of us feel them, some of us see them, hear them, I can sometimes see the almost like astral outline of a potential future, and I can kind of make it out, and I get a sense of what I should do next to get there. So however you get that kind of information, tune in a little bit and see, okay, what is it, or at least ask yourself the question, what is the perfect situation for me in my love life? Or what would the perfect situation for me be when it comes to romance? Ask yourself the question, see what your angels and your guides come up with and present to you, and let it manifest itself. It's much better to connect with spirit and to hand over your love life and your relationship and say, there you go, you deal with it for me, than it is going on Match.com and going through things. One approach is working with spirit to see what spirit actually wants for you. Does spirit want you to be in a relationship in the next 5 years or not? If you align yourself with spirit and spirit is saying it's not actually right for you in the next 5 years, then you can stop stressing about it and you can say, okay, I'm going with what's meant to be and I'm just going to enjoy myself. And it's important because we all have something written into our chart when it comes to relationship. You know, some people are single for 10 years. Why is that? There's a reason for it. It's part of your spiritual development. Anyway, so with Neptune going direct, it's going to be much clearer to see these things and to get that information. On the 21st of November, the Sun goes into Sag in your 4th. So you're going to really be energized by family relationships, spending time with family and making plans with family. And we're shifting now from serious, heavy planning into fun and lightness and actually enjoying things. It's a gradual shift over the month. And then that builds and builds and builds here at the end of the month. And by the time we get to the 29th, you're going to really be enjoying yourself because we've got the new moon in Sagittarius in your 4th, and you're going to get a great sense of joy and amusement and fun by being around family members. Obviously not the ones you're estranged with and you've been battling and court with for the last 10 years. The ones you get on with. And if you don't have family, the people who you've made your family. It's the people. Family just means the people who are nearest and dearest to you in your closest circle. By spending time with them and looking what you're going to do in future, you'll have a great time. So Thanksgiving for Virgos this year is going to be fab. You're going to have a great time. So I hope that gives you some info of what you'll be looking at in November. If you'd like a private reading with me about your love life, your finances, your life purpose, what you're supposed to be doing for a career, and you'd like some help with that, then please get in touch with me for a private reading. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab and you can order your reading with me there. And I'll speak to you soon.